Hi, I'm Kate Hernandez, and I'm going to be talking about the thermochemistry heat transfer. And this was actually one of my favorite labs to do, and it was actually really interesting how certain elements were processed through the heat and transferred. So what we would have to do first is get a specific element, and the first element that I'm going to be talking about is Ag, which is silver. And it told us to put 220 degrees Celsius for the temperature for the silver, and then for the remaining of the water was the same throughout the whole procedure. So the water was 20 grams for the mass, and then 20 Celsius for the temperature and water. And then throughout the whole process of the silver, we got to see how the temperature fluctuated between the time. So even though it did start at 20, it would end up being maybe like 27, 28, and that was just the temperature in degrees Celsius throughout the whole thing. So we saw how the heat transferred throughout. And then once we saw that and we saw the whole process come through, we began to see the heat content. So while we did that, what's it called? Oh, we saw the conditions of the certain water with the silver, and then we played it out, and we took the initial temperature from the beginning, and then the final temperature of both the silver and the water, and also we subtracted it obviously and got the temperature change, and then the heat content was we would have to actually figure that out. So I know it gave us a certain equation for it, which was Q equals mcs delta T, and the Q is the heat in joules, and then the M is obviously the mass. The CS is the heat and its content, and then the delta T is the change in the temperature. So from the initial to its final temperature, whatever we subtracted is what the temperature change was. So if it started at 220 degrees Celsius and it ended up being like 27.19 degrees, we would have to subtract that and then get that certain change of temperature and then add it to the equation. And that's what I did, so I can get the certain temperature in joules. And then throughout the whole process of the other elements, so it wasn't just silver that we had to do. Oh, but talking about silver and then the rest of it,